no one expected. Even Jin himself looked flabbergasted when he saw the number of bodyguards guarding Jimin today. Not only did the scene steal the public's attention, but it also raised a big question. Why was the security for Jimin suddenly tightened in such a way? Is there a serious threat, or is it precisely a strategic move that the agency is planning? These questions are now rolling profusely among the army and observers of the South Korean entertainment industry. Jin's shocked reaction could not be hidden. In some visual documentation, his gaze that had stopped for a moment when he saw the line of bodyguards around Jimin seemed to represent the same feeling as the thousands of fans who were at the location. The number of bodyguards no longer looks like the standard escort of an artist, but rather resembles the security of a state figure. This is what then became the subject of heated discussion. Has Jimin's popularity reached the point where his presence must be secured like a head of government? This phenomenon raises a fundamental question. Is a big move being prepared by Jimin or even BTS as a whole? In the context of the global music industry, extra safeguards are usually only put in place when there is a security issue, serious threat, or international promotion strategy in progress. However, no official information has been released by HYB until now. It is this silence that makes the public even more curious, as if the agency deliberately allowed speculation to develop in order to create greater attention. For the army on site, the atmosphere became very tense and confusing. They are not only trying to capture Jimin's moment, but also documenting a lineup of bodyguards whose number makes no sense for a K-pop artist, even a BTS classmate. The number of security personnel deployed this time is said to reach dozens of people, with layered formations usually used in state security operations. This situation makes the situation around Jimin completely different than usual. Jin, as a figure who has always been known to be calm and full of humor, this time showed a much more serious expression. His natural reaction was to show that the number of bodyguards surprised not only the public, but also the BTS members themselves. This led to new speculation. Was there any information that was deliberately not shared with the members in order to maintain the secrecy of the grand plan? If so, then the Jin may feel the same way as the army, which is surprised and full of question marks. Question after question arises. Is Jimin preparing for a really important international project? Is there a real threat to his safety? Or rather, is this number of bodyguards part of a carefully designed imaging strategy? South Korea's entertainment industry has a long history of capitalizing on controversial moments to attract global attention. Thus, the presence of bodyguards in massive numbers could be part of a scenario that has been carefully calculated. However, the security aspect cannot be ignored. Jimin's growing worldwide popularity makes him an easy target, not only for fans who are too fanatical, but also for potential threats coming from outside. Previous cases of security breaches against K-pop idols show that extreme precautions are sometimes necessary. If it is true that today's security is carried out due to a real threat, then the steps taken by HYB are completely rational. However, the closure of information from the agency actually adds uncertainty in the eyes of the public. Jin, who has been known as a protective figure as well as Hyung in BTS, certainly has a strong instinct to pay attention to the safety of his younger siblings. His shocked expression could be interpreted as a spontaneous reaction of an older brother who found his sister being escorted in an unusual way. This moment quickly spread throughout social media, giving rise to a long discussion about what really happened. Even some of the army speculated that Jin might know more, but chose to remain silent for the sake of secrecy. This surprise also shows how BTS's internal dynamics have always been a big concern. Every expression, gesture, to the slightest response from the members often triggers deep interpretation. This time, Jin's expression presents a new interpretation, that there is something much bigger than just the routine activities of an idol. Many believe that this moment could be the beginning of a new chapter in Jimin's journey, both individually and as part of BTS. From the public side, the bodyguard phenomenon also caused critical reflection. Have fans become so massive as to force the agency to drop an extra layer of security? Has the world of entertainment now reached a point where idols must be closely guarded not because of a real threat, but because of unbridled public euphoria? This phenomenon mirrors that BTS, and Jimin in particular, have transcended the status of ordinary artists to become global icons in need of special treatment. Speculation grew further. Is this step only temporary, or will it become a new standard for Jimin in each of his performances? If this is the case, then the world will see a significant change in the way the South Korean entertainment industry manages the safety of its top idols. No longer enough with standard bodyguards, but with a layered security system that resembles international protocols. Until this news is written, HYB has not issued an official statement. However, the public is already talking about this moment with incredible intensity. Every piece of video, every photo featuring a lineup of bodyguards is immediately reanalyzed by the army on various platforms. Some believe this is a promotional strategy. Others believe this is a form of anticipation of a real threat. Whatever the reason, the fact that Jin was shocked was enough of a sign that something extraordinary was really going on. Jin's apparent reaction is an important factor in this discussion. As a member who always maintains calm, Jin's surprise actually confirms that the number of bodyguards is unusual, even in the eyes of the members themselves. At this point, the army felt even more curious. What exactly was going on behind the scenes? Is this a big sign ahead of Jimin's global project, or is it an emergency measure that has to be taken? Whatever the answer, one thing is clear. This moment will be remembered as one of the most shocking events in BTS history. Not only because of the unreasonable number of bodyguards, but also because of Jin's spontaneous, honest, and question mark reaction. The army is now waiting with increasing curiosity for an official answer from the authorities. But until then, speculation will continue to roll, and this moment will continue to be the subject of global conversation. Speculation continues to grow more interesting because the public realized one thing. The number of bodyguards guarding Jimin is not just a lot, but organized in a very professional pattern. From direct observation on the ground, it appeared that the bodyguards were placed in a layered formation. Some are in charge of opening the way in front, some are guarding the right and left sides with standby gestures, as well as additional rows that close the back with a tight defense pattern. For some security observers, this formation is rarely used in the entertainment world. So it is natural that the Jin's reaction looks so strong, as if he is witnessing a scene that is only worth meeting in a state event. The moment was even more dramatic when some fans in the front row tried to call Jimin's name. But their voices seemed to be held back by the human wall formed by the bodyguard. Army who were accustomed to seeing their idols could at least say hello or wave their hands. This time had to accept the fact that the safety distance was really enforced. For some fans, this scene created a sense of disappointment at the loss of intimate moments with his idol.